Welcome to K&W Garage. I'm Wes. We're going to try to rebuild the spare tire carrier today, and then we're going to weld up some of those trim holes on the quarter panel and then see what other damage we have. I don't know how exciting this is going to be, a lot of welding and grinding, but we're going to make the best of it, see what we can do, try to provide you with some information, and hopefully it'll work. So we'll get at it. Let's do it. Well, I guess we'll see how we're going to work on this side today. I've cut this panel down. Like I said, this is for a 65 GTO Le Mans, not a station wagon. So it's a little modifying and it'll work as long as you got your 6-inch gap between here and here, here and here, you'll be good all the way across. Anyway, I got this marked. What I did is I laid it up where I wanted it. I clamped it in place and you can see the white paint. So I shot me a line. So now I'm gonna go through and cut some of this old metal out. Just stay 1/4 inch inside my lines there. And that should be pretty close. And of course, I'm gonna have to rebuild the whole back corner back here. It's pretty rough. It's got finger vent holes. Anyway, let me get this whacked out. Oh, and another thing too. Remember I told you never throw nothing away until you're done? This is actually a seat rail out of my GTO. I put a new floor in it, and this is actually what holds the bucket seat in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it down underneath down there, but it's gonna set down there, weld down here, come across, come up this side, and that's gonna cradle this spare tire so she don't bounce around. That's my thinking anyway. We'll see how it works out. First we gotta get this cut out and figure out what we got to work with. Well, it's been a few minutes for a little bit for me and a minute for you, or a second. What we got here, I'll move this out of the way. Gotta sit down. You have to build a framework for the spare tire in here before you do the sheet metal work around it, because there's gonna be no way to get in there to do the heavy metal work when you get done. So what I've done is let's get stuff out of the way. I'll pull it down here for you, and let's see if we can get this camera to do what we want to do. As you can see, this is the original, and it was rotted out. And that piece right there is a seatbelt piece I told you. It's heavy enough metal. It should do just fine. But and then if you come over here, trying to work this on the tripod, so I'm trying to work the tripod around. Oh, bounce around to me. See, I got the patch panel on there. Just want to make sure everything fits like it should. So and remember, a new tire today is a lot wider than a tire was back in yesteryear, unfortunately. So that tire might have been 5-6 inches wide at best, and this one here is probably pushing 10. So yeah, let's see how tall this new tire is versus the old tires. Yeah, you're looking at a good 9 inches, and I bet the other ones probably weren't 7 inches wide. So you have a wider capacity, you have to get in the same hole. So the goal is to put the tire in there and get the cover to fit. If not, we're going to have to go down with it or figure something out with it, or maybe go with a lower profile tire, but let's try it. All right, get in here. Like I said, everything is just screwed together and clamped together. If I like it, then we can weld it. Okay, tire sits in there, sitting on the holder fine, resting against the back like it should. And we get this up there. Make sure it latches. Oh, there it is. There she is, she's latched. And everything seems to fit like it should. So all we gotta do now is grind it down, clean it up, weld it. I think that's a success. While I was looking at the inside, I was remembering my mom and dad's minivan. They got a Dodge Stow and Go, or whatever it's called. It's got compartments hid everywhere in it. Well, I'm thinking, you know what, if you got a wagon and you got the spare tire over here, which takes most of this capacity, I'm not really sure. I think I can rig up. We got one of those little crank jacks like the new cars have, and I think it'll work. But I might be able to rig that in there and give a place to hold it down. You want everything tight. I mean, you got, where did it go? We got this that locks in there to hold the tire to keep it from bouncing around, making noise going down the road. And I'm sure I can rig something up there for that little jack. But I was looking at this hole over here and I'm thinking, that's just a lot of wasted space. I've got to make the panel anyway for it, so I can make it cut off here and make this where this is a door that opens up, box this in, and have a nice little storage place. And that still leaves the back of your car open. Or I guess you can mount a speaker back here, but you wouldn't have one over here. But anyway, there's, you know, when you're redoing these, look for these little spots like this. Sometimes they're kind of handy to have a place to store stuff without everybody seeing what you got. I mean, even a little toolkit would work out good in there. Hard to say. Anyway, we'll probably box that in, and we get all done in there, and it should be a nice little storage place. Well, that cleaned up pretty nice. Let me show you what I got done. Get my eyeglasses on so I can see. This is the spare tire holder. This is welded in, but this plate metal here is tough. I think this is keep from bottoming out. I think it's what that whole purpose of that is. But I think I'm eventually going to run a piece of metal plate over and run it down, weld it to this, which will keep this rigid after I get the floor in underneath it, so you can see the rust. I got to cut all this out, this over here. I cut all this bottom off down here because that's all nasty. That's all. This should go all the way across, so it's missing a lot. And then I found this and this and this and back in there. This all don't look too bad. Then of course we got this. And this, and oh, don't forget this. But anyway, it's getting there. But yep, just make sure when you're doing something like this is structural, make sure you really weld it well. Take your time on it, because that gets loose, it's gonna mess this up. And oh, while we're looking at rust, we got rust up here. We got a big nasty hole there. And basically from here all the way back, the whole lip's rusted out, so I have to cut and replace every bit of that. But that's where we're at. I think we're gonna call it a day. Dog was telling me he wanted to go to the house, so I think that's what we're gonna do. We worked a few hours this morning, got something done. But anyway, we'll get back on it again. The spare tire fits, the cover fits, that's done. Now it's just sheet metal work and fixing rust. And it's better off to fix all of this inside before you work on this, because right now I got access to everything. If I wait till I put the skin on and then try to do it, then I'm trying to work down the hole this way. It's staring me in the face. Oh, an interesting little fact, if anybody cares. I was reading the other day that a good spot weld, just a regular spot weld, will hold 100 pounds of weight. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't realize how much weight a spot weld could hold. Learn something new every day. I'm not really sure how all that worked out, but we tried time lapse. But anyway, there's I got the piece welded in there, ground down. Now I have to make a piece come down here, all the way across the bottom and come back and match up to that quarter panel. And I got to build all that. You guys got to see me do some work. Probably kind of boring, but anyway, hopefully that worked. Well, I promised you guys an update and thought about some stuff. You know, I've got aftermarket wheels on this car, and I've got a stock spare or 15-inch 4 3/4 bolt pattern steel wheel. If I was to break down, do you realize the lug nuts I have that go on these aftermarket wheels would not work on that stock rim? So when you load your spare tire up, if it's different, make sure you get you a baggie or a piece of wire and put you some lug nuts you can use, and make sure you got lug wrenches to fit everything. I guess that'd be my tip for the day. I like to screw all my stuff together to make sure that I have what I want. But this is the inside, this is where the spare tire goes. And I'm looking through the wheel well because I've still got a lot of stuff to build because it's pretty trashed. But anyway, this outer skin, this right here will come off, but I got to get everything measured right in order to make sure it goes on right when I'm done. So I got my paint lines, I'm all lined up. So, well, after a lot of grinding, welding, cutting metal, we got it done. Not the wheel well, just the spare tire. Anyway, I'll show you what I got done, and I'm gonna fiberglass it and call it good. Nobody's gonna see it anyhow, but I probably used a little heavier metal than I needed, but by God, it's gonna be solid. Let's check this out. Just a piece at a time until I got it welded in there. It's pretty stout by itself. And then I'll come over here and grab this. This is the patch panel, but it's nowhere near ready to go on yet. I still got to weld all those marks up, and I can do a lot more without this in the way. Oh, bear with me. All right, there she is. She's on there, lined up. Everything fits like it should. It'll weld in real nice underneath when I get done. And now we got to fix that and that. Well, we got to start somewhere. We have a tire cover, and under that tire cover we have a late model 15-inch tire that actually fits in the hole. So sometimes you a little modify to make everything fit. Oh. And that's where I'm at on this. I still got to put the quarter panel extension on after I get all the rust out of the rest of it. And I sprayed the inside of it with the bed liner spray, just for the fact of having it sealed up, because once you try to reach down in here, it's going to be kind of tough to do. Anyway, not much going to happen today. The air conditioner went on the fritz. A buddy of mine's coming over to charge it, and it's going to get awful hot in here today, so we're just going to get it done. But it's where we're at on the progress. So Kim's got to go to work now, and she's playing camera girl.
Hi, everyone.
So we're going to clean the shop up today and make it a shop day, and maybe check on my motor. My goal for today is all these little trim holes here where the striping used to go, which we don't have anymore. I'm just welding them up. We're going to pinstripe it. And I got some, find my finger here. There it is. Got some Tempest logos down here. Going to fill them in. This is kind of what I'm working on today. And you see my shop's got a boat in it. That's our boat we had down at the lake. I got hurt 2 years ago. Haven't been able to get the boat out on the water and enjoy it like I like to, and it hurts to ride in it. So I decided that make it her call, and she decided to sell it since we don't use it. And the grandkids have all pretty much moved away, so it's all good. But anyway, I'm trying to keep a sterile environment, and I thought, what could I do? I can weld this up. So what I'm going to try to do is get this camera over here, and you guys can help me do a little welding. All right, for guys who haven't done this before, I left this panel off. For one, I'm waiting on this stuff. Two, it's so much easier. This is a copper-coated panel. Weld will not stick to copper. So you can stick that underneath to fill the back of that hole in, and with any luck, fill it in right. I'm just having trouble getting my groove working today, but we're gonna shoot another hole. Welded up, ground down, pretty good. What I'll do is I'll put a thin coat of fiberglass over this when I get ready and sand it down, and then I'll put my black, make sure I got all the little weld deals off of it. And that's good, but just to press on where we're at now is, if you look at that inner wheel well back in here, that right there is rusty. But if I take this vinyl panel out here and take the back seat out of it, I have full access to all the spot welds that are in this, and I've ordered this new panel. Of course, I fixed this down here, so I'll have to figure out where I got to cut it off to marry it up to what I built. Now I can build that panel. I've got, as you can see over there in the corner over there, if you can see, I've got English wheel, bead roller, brakes. I've got all kinds of toys. My God, it wasn't that much money for that panel, so I'm just waiting on it to come in. That's why we still have daylight down here. But anyway, let me show you this panel, and this is where we're going. This is going to be our next body deal. Hopefully, we'll get a motor here pretty quick. Through here, there's nothing left. I mean, it's pretty junk until you get to about here. About here, it's solid, and then you got this here, and I got a little bit on the back, but I can make that piece while this is off. See, somebody's already put chicken wire in there and tried to doctor it up, but we're gonna do it right. And it's a little rusted down here, but all this will be that new panel will fit all this. And let me go over here and get this. I had to cut it and do a little modifying on it. Hold you good hell up there. Don't look too bad. The gap, the seam is 6 inches, which is what it's supposed to be. And I have to replace all this back here. This is all rusty. It's next on my list, but we got so many irons in the fire right now. We're gonna try to get this mess cleaned up. But anyway, that's got this welded in. It's not perfect, but like I said, when I get this all welded in, I'm sure I'll be putting a little thin coat of filler over there. And so I got little weld nubs there. I'll have to go through and make sure we have off, because they will cause you a problem when you start doing body work. Just take your time, and the only other thing I can think of on the MIG welder is sometimes it makes a difference on the angle in which you are setting your tip up to weld. If you get too far of an angle, you'll start burning. If you go too straight on, like these were holes, so they were kind of hard to go straight in, so you had to go a little bit of an angle, get it started, and then turn it around this way to weld them up. Every welder's different. You're just gonna find out, if you got holes like I'm doing, I did here, you're gonna do one or two until you get it figured out, and then once you get it figured out, the rest of them will buzz through. But just to give you we need to do some hour. I need to do an hour total on this. But anyway, just on this morning, welding this up, just what I did, I got 2.5 hours in it. So that's just welding these up, because you don't want to get it hot. Weld a little bit, move on. Let's see what else we can tear up. We got that done. I hope that it turned out well. There was a lot of welding, a lot of grinding. She had to cut a lot of footage out because it was boring. I almost fell asleep. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something on it. And we're going to probably put that aside right now and maybe do a little work on the GTOs. So I'm waiting on parts and no motor, no inner panel, so I'll just go monkey with that and see if I can clean some stuff up and get it back on the car and maybe get some wiring done on it. See you guys next video. Be safe.